of an eagle, and they looked like lions. And that was the imagery of the first world empire in Babylon. The second one that appeared was like a bear, and that was the imagery of the Medo-Persian empire. And so when it says unto the bear of the Medo-Persian Babylonian empire at that time, to rise up and devour much flesh, and it had three, ribs inside its mouth, then that's when it conquered Lydia, Babylonia, and Egypt. When you go into verse 6, and it says, after this, there was another one like a leopard. A leopard is swift. And when you look historically and understand the campaigns and the war strategy of Alexander the Lesser, who they call great, he moved quickly through that region, and Alexander was able to capture that region in not a long period of time. He represents the leopard, and the four wings that's on the bird, or the beast rather, the leopard, are the four generals of Alexander, along with the four heads, which were given dominion. That was Ptolemy, Cassander, Lysimachus, and the Seleucus. So now this shows you that the same dream in chapter 2 is reiterated in chapter 7. The only difference is that's how Nebuchadnezzar saw the times of the Gentiles, as gold, precious metal, and splendor. Where Daniel, the Israelite, saw the same period of time of the Gentiles as beasts in human form. They were beasts, rapacious, aggressive beasts, conquerors they were. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. And when you get down to the last one, which is the iron, that is Rome. And verse 20 and 21 say about the fourth beast. Well, let's look at it this way. Verse 19 says, then I wish to know the truth about the fourth beast, which was different from all the others. So let's stop, and let's have a little scriptorial prophetic lesson. The first three beasts were all land animals. The lion, the bear, the leopard. The first three beasts had all kingdoms and monarchies: Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece. The fourth beast was different than the other ones. The fourth beast is never really described. But when you read the books of Ezra, 2nd Esdras, in chapters 11 and 12, it tells you that this is the interpretation of the dream that Daniel had that was not given to him, for the fourth beast is Rome, and it was described as an eagle. So it's different than the other three beasts who are land animals, because Rome was represented by an eagle, which is a bird of prey from the air. The government of the three before were all monarchies, where the government of Rome was not. It was based upon a Congress and a Senate. It was a republic. So at the end times, the end time beast, if it is Rome, would look like ancient Rome. It would have an eagle, and it would have a republic, and it would have a Congress and a Senate. Are you following what I'm saying to you? End times beast. The most powerful, most dreadful beast that would ever come upon the face of the earth. The fourth beast, which is different from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, with huge iron teeth, its nails of bronze, devours and breaks in pieces, and tramples the remnant with its foot. And the 10 horns which is upon its head, and the other horn which came up before it, 3 fell down, namely, that horn which has eyes, and a mouth speaking pompous words, whose appearance was more greater than its fellows. I watched, in the same horn, the 11th horn, because that 11th horn comes up out of the 10 after the beast reappears in the book of Revelation. I watched, and the same horn was making war against the saints, and it was defeating them. until the Ancients of Days came and judgment was rendered in favor of the saints of the Most High, because it became the time for the saints to possess the kingdom. So a series of events unfold here where Rome begins to persecute the saints of the Most High. Rome persecuted Israel when it fell in 70 AD, killed all our people, bodies floating in the Galilee, numbering over 1.5 million. They burned the temple, came back in 135 AD, burned the temple down again, set it on fire to the remnants of the Israelites that were there, and scattered the people. Rome is the end times Gentile beast-like structure that is on the earth at the end of the days. Revelation chapter 13, verse 1 through 4. And the book reads on this wise. Revelation 13, 1 through 4. This is John's prophecy. So Daniel said that he saw the four winds, north, south, east, and west, strove upon the great sea, the Mediterranean. Remember when we opened up this lesson, John's getting his vision. He's on the island of Patmos in the Aegean Sea, which is adjacent to the Mediterranean Sea. So Yochanan says, then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and a blasphemous name. Sea in biblical prophecy refers to nations, languages, tongues, and people. I saw the beast rise up out of the people, out of the government, out of nations, out of different tongues. So wherever this beast is that emerges, it is an amalgamated beast. It is a mingled beast. If we stay congruent in the Torah, we know that we are not to not only yoke an ox with a donkey because it's unequally yoked, but you're not supposed to sow the seed of different fruits and vegetables in the same field. That's corruption. You're not supposed to mix animals today together or in ancient times. That's corruption. This amalgamated, mingled beast is an unclean beast. Why? It's a composite. The beast that I saw, which looked like a leopard, look at that. It had the feet of a bear, look at that. Its mouth was like the mouth of a lion, look at that. In reverse form, you're looking at the lion, which is Babylon, the bear, which is Medo-Persia, and the leopard, which is Greece. That's 3 of the 4 beasts of Daniel. The dragon gave him his power and his throne and great authority. So hold your place there and go back to the book of Revelation chapter 2. Let's see the dragon. Because Revelation chapter 12 says the dragon, that old serpent, that great old serpent of old, rather, called Satan and the devil. So the dragon represents Satan and the devil, the adversary. So Revelation chapter 2 tells us, according to Revelation 13, that the dragon gave the beast his power and his throne. Let's see where the beast's throne is. Revelation 2:12 says, and the angel of the church of Pergamos. Pergamos was in a place in the west southern portion of Asia Minor in Galatia, which was a province of Rome. So we're talking about historically, Pergamos is in Galatia, which is in Rome. To the angel at the church of Pergamos, write, these things said he who has the sharp two-edged sword. I know your works and where you dwell, where Satan's throne is. And you hold fast to my name, and have not denied my faith, even in the days when Antipas, my faithful witness, who was killed among you, where Satan's throne is. Antipas was a witness who was a Nazarite of the Nazarene order, who was a follower of Yehoshua HaMashiach, that we call Yahshua, known as Yahushua, and he was murdered in Rome. Antipas was killed at the throne of Satan's seat, which says that in Revelation 13:2, the dragon gave him, the beast, his power and his throne, Rome, and great authority. I saw one of the heads as it had been mortally wounded, and its deadly wound was healed. And all the world wandered after the beast. So they worshiped the dragon, Satan, who gave his authority to the beast, Rome, which is a government, which represents a system, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him? It's not an individual man. This is a system. This is the government that this is talking about, not no man. You got to come out of those flicks and mythological stories left behind. Ain't nobody's behind going to be left behind unless you stay here. There is nobody coming to take you up and whisk you away in the rapture. That is non-biblical. You're going to be here for the judgment that's coming here. So you got to get yourself right with the Almighty and be in His Word and understand what time you are in. Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him? He was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. He was given authority to continue for 42 months, a times and a half a time, 3.5 years, 1,260 days, 42 months, same period of time. We're on a lunar Uriach time clock. And if you don't understand the calendar, you will miss what is occurring. And just like Nathaniel says all the time, how come Israelites ain't posting about the blood moons? How come we weren't posting about the full-blown eclipses? We were doing more Facebook postings of selfies than true and upright information that will warn our people. Because we are in this thing now. And the days of leanness are upon us. And so how is it that we have come to this point of time in studying and our awakening and not understand the times that we are in? Continuing down to Revelation chapter 13, verse 6, 7, and 8. He opened his mouth and blasphemed against Yah, blasphemed his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. And it was granted to him to make war with the saints. The same thing Daniel said. This is the same prophecy. And to overcome them. And authority was given to him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. And all, very important, and all who dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Now you need to circle that. All of them who dwell on the earth will worship him, the beast. Satan wants to worship. He gets the worship through the beast. He gets the worship through idolatry. He gets the worship through false godism and the practices of demonology. And there's a government on the earth that will allow you to have worship with Satan. And if any government on the earth allows you to have worship with Satan, that is not Yah's government. That is Satan's government. If you were in Israel and you had your own government, would you allow Satan to be worshipped? No. But here you can worship Satan. You can worship any other god you want to. You are in Egypt, Babylon, Assyria, Greece, and Rome all over again. Worship is sacred. All who dwell on the world in the earth will worship him. Who are they? All of those whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. That's who's going to be worshiping him. All those who are not written in the book. My goodness. Further down in Revelation, it takes us to a point in verse 14, all the way through 18, it reads, 14. He deceiveth those who dwell on the earth by those signs, which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many who would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Now, whoever this is causing idolatrous worship to occur. And all the inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast and his image, whose names are not written in the Lamb's book of life. What is this image of this beast? Because it's worship. And there's something else connected with the beastly worship and its imagery. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their forehead. Now we were told, we know in Leviticus, we are not to receive or put upon ourselves any cutting marks in our flesh for the dead. You are not to tattoo yourself. And there are some out there who are teaching, oh, this mark of the beast is Sunday worship. You are so wrong. You are so wrong. Let's read it again. It says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their right hand. The word that is there in the original is charagma. Charagma means a sketch, an etching, a cutting. It is the same word that is used as the Hebrew word that is used for cutting your flesh. It says continuously or continuing, the mark will be on the right hand or on the forehead. Why? So that no man might buy or sell. So this mark and the recipients thereof it, the mark restricts the purchasing of goods and products. In fact, this mark is a mark of commerce. Why? No man might buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let he who hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666, or 666. That's the number of the beast. The name of the beast is not revealed here in these scriptures, but you get the number and the name of the beast's name by learning how to count the number of your own name, which is recorded in the books of Numbers. Because in ancient times, every man was numbered according to the number of his name. So this is a mathematical equation that is done through Hebrew gematria. And when you use Hebrew gematria, you can number the name of the beast, because the number of his name calculates numerically 666. And the Kaiser and the Caesars and the Pope's names all come out to the numerical value of 666. For the word Latinios, man, or Latin man, has the same numerical evaluation as 666. The name New York City, 666. The name Washington, 666. The United States of America, 666. If you've ever been taught Hebrew gematria, and if not, then I got to teach it to you, because it all comes up to 666. It is a system that was in place. Prior to 1974 and the emergence of the NCR, red infrared light to scan items of the U.S. product code, or what's called the UPC, the Universal Product Code, you had to key in your food. You ain't got to key in your food now. You swipe everything. And it is read by an infrared eye. And when you read the infrared eye, or the infrared eye reads the Universal Product Code, it reads the first guard code, which is a 6. It pauses, and then it calculates the manufacturer's code, which is usually 5 digits. It pauses for the middle barcode, which is a 6, and then it reads the ending 5 numbers, which is the product code. Pauses and ends the transaction at the end of a 6. That's on the universal product code. It is the same system that is used by the EAN, which is the European article number. It's in the barcode. You can't buy or sell anything without a barcode. The barcode is in your car. Look under your hood. It's on the back of your radio. Look on it. It's on your modem, on your computer. Look on it. It's on all your food. It's not on my fruits and vegetables. If they're in plastic bags, it's on there. The only thing that is not on is farm-raised food that you don't take to the store. You are living in the times of the beast. And if they shut this system down,
still there? Hello?
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 Hi. Hello.
I think you probably got cut off.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's going to call back in.
Okay.
Muted.
been trying to prepare you. The importance of what we're saying is so deep that the electronic devices that are in motion here, and someone said hurry back, and Toda Rabah, we are back, Toda Rabah for your patience. These are very serious times, and we want you to be informed about what times you are living in. There was an article that was sent out that's been circulating that there is a owner of a technological software firm who himself went and took a chip and implanted the chip under the skin of his left hand. Now, for those who are on here that, you know, those of you who have been born in their teens, born 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, some of these things I'm saying to you are not so surprising that the technology is here. But for those of us who've been in this way 30, 40, 50 years, who were reading books and scriptures that this was going to come, for us to see that it is here is a sense of urgency to us. Because we know we are living in the end times because of all of the things that are happening. The European Union is a reality, wasn't before. The 10 toes are a reality, wasn't before. The awakening of Israel back to its right state of mind before the Creator and the restoration of Israel is right before us. That was prophetic. When you see all these signs happening and then you see the mark of the beast, you know you are in the end times. And so we want to help prepare you that you don't become victims of this system, because when they crash the system, and it will crash, then what form of food, what form of shelter, how will you provide? How will you be sustained? Yah will provide. Yes, he will provide. But you need to be wise and see the storm coming to stock up some water, to stock up some non-perishable foods, to make provisions for yourself as you make provisions to leave the land of the captivity. Revelation 18:4 says, come out of her, my people. Wisdom say that you come up out of her before all these things of the system is in place and then they become implemented in her. Come out of her, my people. Back to Revelation chapter 14, 9 and 11, and in Revelation 15:2, and we're almost finished. Revelation 9:11 says, then the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, anyone who worships the beast and his image and receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of Yah, poured out in his full strength into the cup of his indignation. So don't take the mark. I'm not going to take the mark. Well, you took the UPC code. You buy every day by swiping your food. Look it up online. Do the research. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, this stuff wasn't online. You can go type in UPC and say, look for the 3 6s, and it'll show it to you. The beginning barcode line, the middle barcode line, and the end barcode line. And those 3 lines are the only lines that don't have visible numbers under them. But when the computer reads it, it reads 666. The computer doesn't read the way you and I read. It reads zeros and ones. It's called a binary code. That's what it's reading. It's reading digits. So they come with a smooth way to introduce this to you and say, we're going to give it to you because it'll help if your mother or father falls down in the bathroom. Then we push the number on the device, which has a binary chip in it and a transponder, and we can send the ambulance service there to help them. And you go ahead and say, that's a good idea. That's part of the deception.
Deception.
You're driving your car around, and 10, 20 years ago, you couldn't drive on the expressway, on the superhighway, and drive through the toll without you stopping. But now they put transponders in your car, and then you walking around with an Easy Pass, an iPass. That sends an electronic signal up through the transponder, and then it debits your account. That's the system of the beast. You sitting around, and people, Gentiles especially, who say it's nothing wrong with taking electronic tattoos. And right here in Chicago, over at the University of Chicago, they have developed skin tattoos of biometrics that you can put on your skin, and it will power itself off of your own flesh because you are a living organism. As we teach, energy flows through your body. Pills to take that you will take the pill, and the pill will recharge the tattooed image on your hand. So this Gentile was saying, well, you know, what we'll do is that since terrorism is everywhere, we'll take the transponder chip and then insert it under the right thumb, between the fatty part of the thumb and the finger, or the left hand under the thumb by the finger, and you can walk into your job, wave your hand. You can walk by your car, wave your hand. They're going to first implement them in airports so that you can go now to the airport, and they say it's convenience. Everything about Satan and his order is either quick, fast, in a hurry, and it's about convenience. So you don't have to wait in line at the airport. Just wave your hand. And somebody will say, I don't see anything wrong with it, not knowing that it is the mark of the anti-Yah society of the beast. Don't take the mark. Don't take the mark. So I ain't going to take the mark. You told Israelites 10, 20 years ago, don't tattoo yourself. And you see now most young brothers and sisters who don't know, they tat it up. Some young brother went out there, I don't know his name, he tatted himself up and he put a face of a person who he thought was the Messiah, and he put a Hebrew writing on there, and he spelled Revelation wrong. But he tatted himself up, marked himself up forever. Don't you know that when you cut into your flesh, you're shedding blood, and when you shed blood, you're making a covenant? Don't you know? We know that. We teach that here. You can't cut your flesh. Not for the dead, not for anybody. Cutting of the flesh is symbolic of a covenant. In ancient times, the Native Americans, when they wanted to enter into the Native Israelites that were scattered here of the 10 tribes, when they wanted to enter into a covenant, they called it a covenant of blood. And they would prick their thumb or their finger, and they would prick the finger of the other person, put the 2 fingers together, and put those fingers down on a piece of paper. Covenant of blood. You cannot have blood without there being some shedding of flesh on the skin. Don't take the transponder chip. Don't. Do the research on the Universal Product Code and the EAN, the European Article Number. Do it. 25 years ago, you didn't even have debit cards. You have them now, and they have become so sophisticated that if you've been watching, they just told you, we're going to slowly implement the new cards with chips. So how many of you online got the new cards with the chips in them? Because you didn't have those cards 2 years ago. But because of so-called cyber terrorism and because of breaches of privacy, they're slowly implementing it. And people are accepting it. Don't accept it. As we come to our close, the last 3 scriptures I want to give you, because it's very important. Revelation chapter 15, verse 1 and 2. Then I saw another sign in the heavens saying, with great and marvelous signs, 7 angels having the last 7 plagues, for in them the wrath of Yah is completed. And I saw something like a sea of glass mingled with fire, and those who have victory over the beast, over his image, over his mark, and over the number of his name, were standing on a sea of glass, having harps of Yah. And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of Yah, and the song of the Lamb. Now, you know, when you go back in the scriptures, you find those 2 psalms. In Exodus 15, 1 through 27, Song of Moses. Psalms 22, verse 22. And this which is mentioned here in Revelation 15, 3, 4, and 5. Thus the song of those who overcome. That's the song that Moses and the Israelites sang when they came out of Egypt. That's the song that is saying as you ascend up on Mount Zion. It is contained within the other songs of ascension that is written in the book of Psalms 121 through the 126, or rather 121 through 134, called the Songs of Ascension. Those are the songs you sing as you go up to Zion. This song that you sing is the song of Moses. Those are people who have been redeemed. When that happens, the next events that happen biblically occur in chapter 16. Then I heard a loud voice from the temple saying to the 7 angels, go and pour out the bowls of wrath of Yah upon the earth. So the first went out and poured out his bowl upon the earth, and foul and loathsome sores came upon men who had the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. Just like in Egypt, the boils only and the sores only came upon those who did not live in Goshen and were not protected. The same thing here. Those who don't have the seal of Yah and the seal of the Lamb in their foreheads, which is his name and the name of Mashiach, and those who take the mark of the beast, foul and loathsome sores will come upon them. And they'll be tortured. They'll be tormented by those sores. Revelation 19 and 20. And it reads, at the end of time, the beast was captured, and with him the false prophet who worked signs in the presence by which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast and those who worshiped his image. These 2 were cast alive in the lake of fire and burning brimstone. So that's the judgment that happens to the beast and the false prophet. And if you read further in Revelation chapter 20, verse 4, as we come to the conclusion, Revelation 20 and 4 says, and I saw the thrones, and they that sat on them, and judgment was given unto them. That's the same event that you saw when we read in Daniel 7. I saw, and the thrones were put in place, and the Ancient of Days did seat, whose hair was white as lamb's wool, and his throne a flame of fire. That's the same event. I saw the thrones, and they that sat on them, and judgment was committed to them. Then I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the witnesses of Yahushua and for the word of Yah, who had not worshipped the beast or his image, and had not received his mark on their foreheads or on their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach for 1,000 years. So they are resurrected, those who lose their life. Because some people, and I'm not going to make this all fluff, beloved, some people are going to lose their life against this struggle against the dark forces of the adversary. Satan will do anything in his power to get worship. And if you are an instrument that are turning the people away from false God worship and away from satanic worship, you better be in right position and have the protection of Yah the Most High with you, because he's going to come after. The fact that we are teaching this lesson, that angels in heaven are rejoicing and the demonic forces in the dark side are enriled. They're just angry because the truth is going forward, because the deception is being broken. And those who are redeemed of the earth will reign with Hamashiach for 1,000 years. Revelation 22, 7 and 10, and Ecclesiastes 12 as we close. Revelation 22, 7 and 10, and it reads, Behold, I am coming quickly. Blessed is he who keeps the word of this prophecy in this book. That's what we started out with. For those who actually read the book, those who actually hear the book, and those who actually keep the words therein, there's a blessing. So there's a blessing to each and every one of you who has heard it today, who reads it, who recites it to others, and more importantly, those who protect the words that are written there within this prophecy. Because Yeshua is coming quickly. Blessed be he who reads the words of this prophecy of this book. And I, John, saw and heard these things. And when I heard and I saw, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel who showed me these things. Then the angel said unto me, See that you do not do this, for I am your fellow servant and your brother, and of the prophets, and those who keep the words of this book. He tells him again, worship Yah. So if anybody comes to you to tell you to worship anything other than Yah, somebody tries to give you some form of false Yah worship, false God worship, they are not from Yah. If any person tries to turn you away from the laws, the commandments, did you hear what I said? Any person try to turn you away from the laws, the commandments, the statutes, the precepts, and the judgments, even in Israel, they were not sent to you from Yah. They are from Satan, the devil himself, to deceive you. Because if it were possible, it said that they could deceive the very elect, but you, the elect, are awake. You are alive, and you know the deception that is coming. So when it comes, don't you be hoodwinked or bamboozled by it. You are supposed to seek thee who created all the things that you see in your eyes and don't see with your eyes. The Most High God, Yah. He is the one that you worship, and him alone do you give praise and worship unto. So let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. As it is written in Ecclesiastes 12, verse 13 and 14, fear Yah, right, and keep his commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. For Yah will bring into judgment every matter, even the secret things that people hide. For that which is hidden shall come to light, and the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And you have been last for over 2,000 years, and now it is time for the last to become first. So may Yah bless you, may Yah keep you, may Yahweh cause his face to shine upon you, may Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you, may Yahweh be gracious unto you, and may Yahweh give you everlasting peace. Shabbat shalom. Hallelujah.
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 I know the animals have got to do the same.